everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Another Bourbon Show. Tonight, we're going to be drinking one of my very favorite bottles on the planet. I love this stuff and glad to share it with these two yahoos so we can season them, get them some good whiskey in their bellies. Tonight, we're going to be drinking this one right here, Michter's Toasted Rye. This is their 2020 release, so this proof is 108.2. They came out with a 2021 version that I do not have that is like 112 proof, something like that. But before we do anything else, let's hear from you, Steven. What do you think of this one? The label.
Again, still, all the Michter stuff is real similar. This one comes down to just the color, and I think the color's pretty good on this one. I like the shade of green a little more than one of the other shades of green that they have. But it's to me, a lot of their labels follow a really similar color scheme to where it becomes difficult to make out exactly which Michter's it is. And because of the sort of oval oblong shape that they've got for their label, they're getting to the point, especially with toasted barrel finish on there, where they're really stretching that little arch to put all those letters into it. So I think the legibility takes a slight hit there.
Okay.
And you have to kind of read that it's a rye underneath that. Again, they're using the green because that's the colors that ryes are. Apparently because of Bullet, by the way.
Apparently. Yeah.
But I like it well enough. I'm going to give it another 6 or right around there kind of thing. Sticking with it for all the Michters. But I will say I liked the last week's a little bit better for the toasted sour mash. That sort of brownish color. I just thought it looked overall a little bit better on the bottle, a little more balanced coloring or something like that. Whatever bullshit. Yeah, it's pretty good label.
Okay, Ryan, you were making some eyes while Steven was giving that rating. So I want to hear your feedback.
No, I was just like, oh man, he's really coming after the elongated font now. You just can't win with them. You know?
Well, listen, as a guy whose last name is Chonafalski, and seeing that across the back of a sports jersey a few times in my life, I'm just like, you know what? Some stuff just doesn't make any sense to put on an arch like that. You know what I mean? It's just like, I shouldn't play sports, and the Michter's people need to keep everything in a one-word type of whiskey base. It's just, you know your lane.
Okay. All right. That's fair, but I'm glad to get Ryan's input on that one.
That's a good point. So would they just put on your jersey Chanto?
No, I mean, sometimes in Little League you'll do the thing where it's they'll actually do a nickname or something like that. But no, usually it was Chonafalski, and it just it wraps around the letters.
Did you have to pay extra?
We should, but I think that fell into the taxpayers. And trust me, they're still pissed to this day. They're like, as long as he doesn't come back, we will shut this rec league down, okay?
You broke Centralia.
Yeah.
You're the reason why Centralia can't afford new stop signs.
Yeah, me and some black tar stuff. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's give it a nose. Let's taste it. Now, Ryan, you've not had this before. Steven, you had a little small sample of it from me previously. Yeah. But you only had a little 1 ounce pour, I think, last time, Steven. And this time, I think you got a full 4 ounces. So
yeah. Well, it's 3.7 or something like that. It seems like you took my previous vial out of this one.
No. I'm however much Ryan got is how much you got as well.
I'm just kidding. You're very generous. I've had my fill of toasted barrel finish after this.
So Ryan, I want to know, what do you think of the nose?
It's good. I feel like I'm gonna like it. Mapley.
Maple, nice.
Very mapley.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Completely agree with you.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting the most right now. I feel like it's going to be decadent.
I don't see any way Ryan doesn't like this one.
Same.
You know what? I got a weird one for you. It smells like, to me, and this is just for the people of Centralia, Illinois, maybe, but this smells like what the Centralia K-mart used to smell like on the inside. So I don't know what that means or what that says, but I'm dead on with that. I am dead on.
You know, the best part is we can't call you out. I can't say you're
I
wrong.
know
I
that's what
can't
I'm going to
say.
stick to from now on. Because if I say mellow corn or something like that, I'm going to get nailed. But if I say the Centralia Kmart, that's so narrow that unless
Yeah.
you've been to that, I'm not even saying Kmart's. I'm saying the specific Centralia Kmart.
Yeah.
Are there
Well,
still Kmart's in existence?
I think there are a few.
I think there are too. Yeah. I think you can order online if you want mismatched shoes. You can probably still get a.
I'd love to have a Kmart barrel pick of something. Oh my god! Can you imagine the selection process?
You know, the only barrel picks they do is Jesse James. That's
Yeah.
Jesse James barrel pick.
It's only fitting
inside
for
joke.
it's only fitting for the devil's cut of stores.
Exactly.
You know?
Devil's River.
The devil. Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll say this color also matches Steven's shirt that he's wearing.
It does, yeah. I think in person that shirt is probably a little more red, but online, like
It's a little different. I don't
Uh-huh.
through
know.
Zoom, they look pretty damn similar.
Yeah.
Well, bottoms up. I want to drink this shit.
Let's try it.
A toast to toasted barrel finish, since we haven't done that before.
We haven't. You're right.
Yeah.
So here's what I love so much about it. So like most recently, the one that really knocked Ryan's socks off was the Angel's Envy Rye. This is not nearly as sweet, not nearly as decadent as the Angel's Envy, but you get so much more of that like rye pop, that rye spice, that rye bite, if you will, from this than you do the Angel's Envy Rye. At least to me. To me, that makes a big difference. And this is more like, oh yes, I am drinking a rye. And it's a more well-rounded whiskey, in my opinion, than the Angel's Envy Rye. So, like, it's not nearly as decadent, but to me, it's just more well-rounded, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from there. It's you definitely get those spicy notes to it. Smelling it, I didn't think it would be like you'd get that. I know it's a rye, but some ryes that we've had, you'd be like, that's a bourbon. You would have no idea.
Right.
So it's nice. You get a little mixture of both. I mean, that toasted finish, you definitely get some of the marshmallow.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like drinking in the beginning, you get that spice, and then the finish is very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I dig it. I'm definitely a drink the vial you gave me. That'll be empty in a few minutes, I'm sure.
And then I won't get the goddamn bottle back for another 4 months.
I haven't mailed you anything yet either.
Steven, what are your thoughts on the toasted rye?
Well, to me, I think that this is like the two sort of whiskeys that we've had that it reminds me of right off the bat are the Angel's Envy Finish Rye, and then also the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. Honestly, it's kind of obvious to say, I guess, but it's obvious that it is still a more decadent rye, even if it's not as decadent as the Angel's Envy. But then you also it's just kind of what that toasted barrel tastes like, I guess. So those are the two that come to mind right away, and to me it has like some of the best parts of each. But I also think that it still maintains that long finish that I don't think either of those two had as much of.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this one, I don't know side by side, but I feel like this one has a much longer finish than those did. I guess I would just say I don't necessarily like it more than either of those two I was comparing it to. I just think that to me it's like it's a lot of the greatest hits of like all the stuff I look for when you're drinking whiskey neat. So
yeah, I agree with you on the long finish, right? Like it's been a full 2 or 3 minutes ish since I had a sip. It's still tingling my taste buds. It's still tingling my tongue. I've still got a nice warm Kentucky hug right now. All from a small sip I took probably 4 minutes ago. So, I mean, I've said it so many different episodes, but I'm a huge Michter's fanboy. And to me, this one is amongst the top reasons why I'm a Michter's fanboy. I think that they do things that other distilleries do, but I think they do them better. And yeah, so I agree with everything you said, Stephen. You like there's if you did this one blind, as soon as you tasted it, you would say to yourself, "This is 100% a toasted barrel product," right? Like you get that, like yeah, you get maple syrup on the flavor, but you also get that toasted deep marshmallow that Ryan mentioned. You also get that deep caramel flavor from that toasted barrel. Um, but you still get that rye spice and a good, really good rye spice, a very peppery taste all together with all of those other flavors. So it's super complex, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the Elijah Craig toasted barrel, what was the proof on that again? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. I think it's 93 maybe or 90.
Yeah. So this is definitely packs a little more punch too.
Oh yeah. A
yeah,
full
you get that
9
hug a little more. Yeah.
full 9% alcohol. If I'm correct that it's 90.
Yeah.
I could check.
Makes me think that Michter's toasted no, it's okay. Because I think you're right. That Michter's toasted sour mash just had a little higher proof. I wonder if that would have changed my score a little bit.
Yeah.
Just because I liked it, but I mean, this is a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. You asked last week if I thought you'd like this, and I unquestionably said yes.
Yeah.
The thing with proof though is you never know what that's going to do, right? Like it might not necessarily give it a longer finish. It might add something to the finish, but it might take away something from somewhere else, right? Like I don't know. But I wish Michter's would do another toasted sour mash. Like that's the one that we tried last week. That's the only one they've ever done. Whereas this is the second toasted rye they've done, but now they've done a third toasted rye. Yeah, they need to go back to doing more toasted sour mash, toasted bourbon, in my opinion. And I don't think they've ever done a toasted American whiskey, but anyway.
That'd be pretty cool.
I want them to keep experimenting. Just keep experimenting with different stuff and see what happens with it. Because again, I like everything they do.
To me, there's almost a little quality in it where the toasted sort of finish and then like a slightly spicier taste creates a little bit of a bite to it at the end. Similar to like if you're drinking a Coke or something like that, where it's like there's some of that, I don't know, that carbonation or that like what makes it sort of refreshing. To me, it's like a refreshing whiskey in some sort of way because of just the flavor profile and sort of the bite at the end.
We should try it in a whiskey Coke.
Why not? I mean, you had a Pappy Coke the other day.
I did have a Pappy Coke the other day.
Once all bets are out whenever that happens. I bet it really would be good in a Coke, though, to be honest.
I'm honestly, I think it probably would be too. I'm not going to do it, though, unless somebody gets me really pissed off, right? Like the only reason I was willing to do that Pappy Coke was just because I was pissed off. And when you get me mad and I want to make a statement,
it's a crime of passion.
I do dumb things.
A crime of passion.
Yeah. But it did make a really good, like a Pappy Coke is really fucking good. It's probably the best whiskey Coke I've ever had in my life.
Better be.
And it was a healthy pour of Pappy
That'd be
too.
so funny. That'd be so funny to say to like a whiskey enthusiast convention. Just be like, man, I can't stand Pappy. The whiskey cokes you make with it are just terrible.
or or go to a whiskey convention, and then you just have like a bottle of Coke in your back pocket,
Yeah.
and you get a little pour, and then you just pour the whole Coke into it.
Well, a comment on TikTok earlier asked they asked hey, have you ever been to, is it called, what's it, Whiskey Fest? What's the
In
one you're
Chicago,
pissed,
yeah.
is that the one you're pissed off about?
Well, I'm not pissed off at a whiskey that we had changed hands, and I was supposed to have VIP tickets because I sold the most of it, and then COVID happened, and now they're not with our company anymore, so I'm probably out of a ticket. Which it's like I think like a $750 ticket or $1,000 ticket. It's a VIP Whiskey Fest ticket, which is, I mean, that's hard to get. It's not an easy thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so she asked if I had ever been to one, and I said no, I haven't. I said I think it would probably be a lot of fun, but I'd probably be super annoyed by pretentious assholes that just want to sit around and measure their dicks. And I think that that's probably what most of them are, and that's the type of thing that would drive me to be like, fuck you guys. I'm
Yeah.
having a Michter's Toasted Rye with Coke.
It's not really like that though, because I
Is it
haven't been to
not?
that one, but I've been to one called I think it was called Whiskey X Festival. Is also in Chicago, but it's called Whiskey X, and they put on a great show, and it was a lot of fun. And I was there with like two or three coworkers who are also good buddies of mine, and we just had a blast. I mean, if you go with friends, you're probably not paying attention to anybody else.
Yeah.
That's where they had those like Maker's Mark donuts that I talked about a couple episodes
Oh
ago.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's not as pretentious as you think. And the people pouring you the whiskey, they seem genuinely excited for you to try it.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'm sure if you poured Coke in one of they probably wouldn't be happy, but I don't think they'd say anything to you. But usually it's just
I
everyone
also doubt it's the
having a
first
good
time
time.
it's happened at one of those
Yeah.
things. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
somebody's.
Yeah.
Somebody's done something like that just to be a dick before. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but you'll
Yep.
go like, do they have Kroger down there?
Mm-mm.
Do they have a grocery store owned by Kroger?
No.
No? Okay, well never mind then. You don't really know. They have like Kroger, they're really good about wine end caps and everything like that. And everything's like they have like probably 4 different wines and a 543 display that are programmed like for 2 months each. So
Okay.
if you were going to a Kroger, I can pretty much tell you what's going to be on programming without ever stepping foot in there. So
I mean, if you go to Schnucks or Deerbergs, it's all like you would approve. You would
what do you mean?
approve of the
Oh,
displays that they put up in Schnucks and Deerbergs.
like, well, I don't service them. Like, let's say Deerberg is owned by Kroger, their displays are pretty much planned at a corporate level that we as reps have to execute. That meet
Right. I
up
just
with
mean
our
I just
management.
mean that
But
like when like you see stacks of cases of wine at Schnucks or Deerbergs, it's nice. The
yeah,
boxes are cut
yeah,
level. You
yeah.
know that it's where it's supposed to be.
If the rep is usually cutting it, yeah, but store employees, they tend to not give a shit. So like most of the like tray cuts they call them for the box, the tray, um, that are shitty are usually from store employees because they
Yeah.
don't give a shit. Yeah,
Well, I was talking to the that Trevor from Kerner,
the rep.
the Kerner rep for Dean's, and he was saying that like that the people who service and rep the grocery stores in this area get super pissed off because like the employees refuse to do anything with the bourbon or whiskey or wine for that matter between their two visits. They make 2 trips to grocery stores for the most part per week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And between then, if they've got cases of something sitting in the back, but they're out on the shelf, the owner, like the managers and the employees refuse to touch it. They're like,
Oh yeah, no, that's all. Like all I do on Tuesdays is throw bottles to the shelf and displays
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
for 8-9 hours a day. So these workers have been told by their corporate, like by corporate offices, to not merchandise product that comes in, even though technically after 24 hours, legally we're not allowed to touch it
mm-hmm.
and merchandise it. But these stores just don't do anything. Like I went into, I was off Friday. One of my stores got new product Thursday. They had a reset. I walked in Monday and half of my cases still weren't put up.
Wow.
That's how lazy fucking people are. But
Yeah.
I mean, they're, when the liquor manager's making $13 an hour, I mean, how much work do you really think you're going to get out of them?
Right. Steven is going to edit what we just talked about out, but, or maybe he's not. I don't fucking know. But it's not actually a question that I received. It's a comment somebody posted on TikTok, and I want to get you guys' reaction first, and then I'm going to react. All right, so this was a comment on the Don't Be a Whiskey Douche video where I poke my head in the door, ask for Blanton's. They don't have it, so I turn around and walk away. And the comment is, let me find it. All right. Concerning Blanton's, I have it in my collection, but it is a bourbon and not a whiskey. Love my bourbon collection here in Kentucky. Multiple exclamation points. What is your reaction to that comment? And I'll read it. Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, read that one more time.
Okay. I have it in my collection, but it is a bourbon and not a whiskey. Love my bourbon collection here in Kentucky. Again, that's in reference to Blanton's. And the fact that I say, don't be a whiskey douche.
Yeah. So I think you can, this is one of those, like, anytime you're reading like text comments on videos, it's kind of like you can interpret it a million different ways. Like, I guess my initial reaction is just that they just missed the whole point. But if I like think more about it, I guess I get what they're saying, like, in a way. I know that it has a lot of bugaboos for you though, Dan, because they say a collection. They're just drawing the line between bourbon and whiskey. They're missing the whole douche part, but maybe they're not missing it. They get it, but I don't know.
They said Blanton's is a whiskey, but not bourbon.
No, they said the actually the opposite. So
The
in
opposite.
there, it starts off by saying, don't be a whiskey douche. And then, hey, y'all got any Blantons? No. And I turn around and walk out. And he said, I have it in my collection, but it is a bourbon and not a whiskey. Love my bourbon collection here in Kentucky.
Oh, so is he saying that he's not a whiskey douche, he's a bourbon douche?
Well, he's saying that Blanton's is bourbon, not whiskey.
It is whiskey, though. What the hell is he talking about?
Can I give my feedback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You dumb piece of shit. This person, this human being.
All right.
Fucking go fuck yourself. It's in my collection, but it's a bourbon, not a whiskey. Can anybody tell me a single bourbon on the planet that's not a whiskey? No, you can't. That's like saying, well, I'm not a male because I'm a human. You dumb fuck. Every single bourbon that has ever been made is a whiskey, and you're too dumb to know it. Next, you're trying to like measure your cock and say, well, I've got it in my collection. Well, fuck your collection, okay? The fact that you call it a collection just makes me think you're a piece of shit. And finally, you want to throw out there, love it here in Kentucky. Okay, I don't give a shit where you're from. Anything that you've got, I can get through either a 3.5 hour drive. You living in Kentucky does not make you any sort of an authority. I'm not an authority, but don't you goddamn even try to say, oh, I'm a authority because I'm from Kentucky. Fuck you.
So I think this is exactly what Steven had in mind. We find a comment from somebody and then we just tear them down
And just rip them
and do
apart.
it every week. Yeah.
Did you really take them saying that they're from Kentucky as like a humble brag or something? Because
Oh, absolutely.
I just saw that
100%.
as I just saw that as them saying like, "Hey, I'm from this area," and they're just
No.
proud of
100%. 100% it's him saying, well, I'm from Kentucky, so I know better. Maybe not. I don't know. But that's how I took it the first time I read it. And that's how I've taken it every time I've read it since then.
How many
And
times have you read it since then? Let's be honest. You have it printed out above your bed at this point, and you're just like,
no,
"Ah."
only like 3 times. Honestly, only like 3 times. Because the first time I read it, all I did was commented, do me a favor, point out a single bourbon that isn't a whiskey, ... I'll wait. And then since then, I've been like, do I want to do a video reply and be like, not nearly as aggressive as I just was, but like, hey, tell me you're a whiskey douche without saying I'm a whiskey douche. Hey, bingo, here you are. Like, oh, this fish, that's not a fish because it's a bass.
Was
What are
he
you fucking
trying to
talking
do
about?
was he trying to do like the all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey's bourbon? Is that what he's trying to do? Or I don't
No,
even understand.
he's saying Blanton's isn't whiskey, it's bourbon. And I'm saying every bourbon is whiskey. Every single bourbon is whiskey.
Well, there's only one way
It's
to settle
impossible
this.
to make bourbon without it being whiskey.
We got to get a Buffalo Trace rep on with us, and we'll just ask him like, so, of course, Blanton's famously is bourbon, but it's not whiskey, and just see what they say.
So we can just look like idiots. So, Steven, you're gonna cut that, aren't you?
I'll cut the part where you say his name, but I'll leave the rest in.
Okay, cool.
I don't think we should.
him.
Unless there's another question that we can. Is there like any like thoughtful questions that anyone had?
Oh, there's some great questions.
Just went for the guy who could break.
They're not nearly as fun.
You don't have to read any of them, Dan. We were just checking. Let's move on.
Ryan, how was Grand Rapids?
It was good. You know, I have a little gripe though, with a certain nail salon because I treated myself.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah. So,
This is breaking news, by the
mani-pedi-
way.
breaking
To
news.
all of our viewers, you have a bone to pick with a nail salon. Go on.
I have a bone to pick. So I went and got a massage. That was great. I think it was called Urban Massage. If you're ever there in Grand Rapids, Michigan, check them out. It was awesome. Maybe they'll
Urban
sponsor us one
Massage?
day. Urban Massage, yeah. No idea where it is in Grand Rapids. I think it's north of downtown. I don't know. It's a legit place. So wherever your eyes are going.
No,
You
I'm
know.
just thinking Deshaun Watson just feverishly taking notes right now.
Yeah.
Did you hear about it from Robert Kraft?
Yeah, I did. Hopefully there were no cameras in the lotion bottles staring at me. But so I get this mani-pedi, right? I mean, the pedicure was fine. The manicure, fucking looking at my fingers, it's all chipped. It's already coming off. It's been 4 days, right? Saturday, Sunday. No, it's been 3 days. It looks like shit. My nails look like shit. You can't see it on here. I look like an idiot. You know, I'm gonna have my wife paint my nails tonight with the clear coat that I had to buy at Target for $9 because they don't know how to fucking put nail polish on fingers, you know? And I also told her, I said, I want a clear coat on my toenails too, because I like a clear coat on all my nails. And she didn't put it on. I mean, there's definitely a language barrier, but I don't think it's that hard to put a clear coat on, especially when I detailed it in the notes that's what I wanted. So yeah, it was annoying. So Lux Nail Bar in Grand Rapids, I think it's in East Town or something. Don't go there. Don't go there. They will mess everything up.
Okay, what's the name of it again?
Lux Nail Bar.
Lux Nail Bar. Why did I think you said it was? Oh, Urban Massage was the
Urban
solid.
Massage. That's a massage place. So this is
Okay.
the nail spa. And you know what? I mean, you know, Italy was in the World Cup, and my nails look like shit. You know, I mean, come on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so so that's the life of Ryan right now.
Anyways,
Pissed off at some poor Vietnamese chick.
I still tipped her like I think it was like $70.
4
I gave her
loaves of
20.
Wonder Bread.
I gave her. It was $67. I gave her 20. So that's still a good tip. It's over 20%.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
know, right under 30. So I don't know. It was embarrassing. You know,
Hey,
an
little
embarrassment of a shop.
riddle for our viewers at home. How do you know how much money Ryan spends on something? Don't worry, he'll tell you.
He'll tell you. Without hesitation.
It's true. Well, I'm not cheap. I'm just upset. The wedding was great though. If you ever had a chance to go to Grand Rapids, it's an awesome town. It's one of my favorite places.
Yeah.
It's like a big little city. You know, you get everything a big city offers, but it's way smaller. I was talking to a few of the people in the wedding. They said a lot of bands will start their tours in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we'll book it out for like a week, and they'll practice in there like all week just to kind of get used to playing in a stadium. And since it's Grand Rapids, it's not like they need it every day for a new band. So it's pretty cool. I like it, and the beer scene.
So
is
if you
really
like
good
Kid
too.
Rock, head to Grand Rapids.
Hey, Bob Seger played there a lot.
Okay, all right.
Bob Seger. That's how we got on topic. I brought up you and your wedding. How I missed Bob Seger in the elevator. I told you about that, didn't I?
No,
Bob Seger was playing in Peoria the day of your wedding.
I had no idea.
He was staying at the Père Marquette.
No shit.
Yeah, and I was in the elevator. I can't remember if I was going like up or down, but there were this old hippie couple who follow him everywhere. And they're like, yeah, he was just in the elevator. You just missed him. He got out a couple floors ago.
He could have been your +1.
Yeah, I know. He should have been, But yeah, I missed out. I missed out on Bob Seger.
No shit. I had no idea.
Yeah. Small world.
That's very cool. Let's rate it. Who wants to go first?
I don't.
I'll go
I still haven't
first.
finished mine yet. Now I want to drink some more.
Do you want me to go first, Steven?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go with 9.0 even. 9 even.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm a Michter's fanboy. I love the spiciness. I love the complexity. I love that it's well-rounded. It's got some sweetness to it, but it's not sweet. It's got some spiciness to it, but it's not spicy. It's got some charred flavors to it, but it's not overcharred. It's just really, really, really well-rounded. It's complex. The harder you focus on what you're tasting, the more depth you're going to find in it. It's 108 proof, but it's a super, super, super smooth 108 proof. I think it's damn good. So yeah, 9.0. That's my rating. And why?
I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think that to me, I like it a little bit better than the toasted sour mash, but I like the toasted sour mash quite a bit. This I like it a little bit more. As I said before, we've talked about it numerous times on this podcast now, but Michter's can do a lot with low proof, and it turns out they can do a lot with going a slightly higher proof as well. And I think we talked with Alan Bishop a little bit about this, but I think that right in this range, this like 100 to maybe this is even a little high, but like the 100 to 105 range or thereabouts is just a good range to drink in, where you get like, it's not too much, but you just get really full-bodied, full flavor to it. And this whiskey benefits so much from that. It really makes you curious what the other Michter's offerings would taste like if they had just a little more proof behind them. But that being said, I've given all of them, I think, very close to 8s or above. So this is another one that's very solid. Highly recommend. And especially if you've tried the Angel's Envy Finished Rye, especially if you've been able to try the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel, if you like either one of those, give this a shot if you're ever able to. and I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, I think, Dan, like you said, it's definitely one of the most well-rounded whiskeys that I think we've drank on this podcast. It's got sweet, it's got spice, it's decadent, but it's also, you get a kick in the beginning part of the finish before I think it kind of sweetens out at the end almost. Steven, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it's like drinking a Coke or like a vanilla Coke, and that, like, at the end, it's very like that. It's very refreshing. I really like it. I still like the Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel just a little bit more. I was going to give it a 9 before you gave yours a 9 as well, Dan. I don't think there's a company who makes better rye than Michter's. Just what the regular rye that I started with. I mean, I think I had that and Templeton rye, and that was pretty much my like entrance into the rye market, if you will. And thankfully, over the last 2 months, we've had a shit ton of ryes that we've been trying. It's really good. I mean, you guys couldn't have said it any better. If you like the Elijah Craig or the Angel's Envy, it still pains me to say how much I like that Angel's Envy, but this is right up there. It's definitely something I'll vie to get that I probably will never be able to, and that makes me sad. But here's to me hoping.
Yeah, and I haven't looked to see what the secondary market is for this right now. But again, like, I'm not big on buying from the secondary market, but if I found one at the right price, I might bite on it.
Or a good trade or something.
Yeah, or for sure for a good trade. Like, if I could acquire more bottles of it through trade, then that would be no question. I would do that for sure. But yeah, secondary market, I can't get into it. Makes me feel dirty. Makes me feel like I need to take a shower, right? Like, yeah. So
is this Michter's highest proof for any of their whiskeys?
The one that the toasted rye for 2021 was like 112 proof.
Oh, I remember you saying that. Higher. But it's still their toasted rye is their highest proof item that they've ever
correct. That they've come out with. Yeah.
Ryan,
because they're all barrel strength.
I gotta correct you though, Ryan. This is not a whiskey. This is a rye.
Right.
So, just to be clear,
dude. Yeah.
Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show. Another bourbon show.
Fuck you,
It's
Mike.
not another bourbon show, guys. It's another whiskey show.
We're gonna get a lot of mileage out of that one. I have a feeling.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so too.